club Sport Emelec is an Ecuadorian sports club based in Guayaquil that is best known for the professional football team. The football team plays in the Ecuadorian Serie A, the highest level of professional football in the country. Emelec has won 13 Serie A titles, holding the record of doing so in all decades in which the Serie A has been played. They also have won 7 regional titles, a record tying 5 of them in the professional era. Emelec was founded on April 28, 1929 by George Capwell, the American head of the Electric Company of Ecuador, from which the club is named after. The name of the home stadium pays homage to the club's founder. The club's most intense rivalry is with crosstown team Barcelona. Matches between the clubs are known as El Clásico del Astillero. History: the club was founded after an assembly of employees at the Empresa Eléctrica del Ecuador, an electric company in Guayaquil, decided to start an amateur sports league. The initiative was spearheaded by George Capwell, the executive officer of the company who came from the United States. The first sports played in the club were baseball, basketball, boxing, swimming, handball, and football. Capwell did not enjoy football, so the sport was supported only by his employees in non-official but recognized championships. This changed in the 1940s when Capwell finally lent his support, resulting in the club winning several official local championships, building their own stadium, and hosting the 1947 South American Championship entirely in it. In 1957, the club became the first national champions in football with a dream team that included Derek Jock, Cipriano Uli, Jose Vicente Balseca, Cruz Avila, Mariano Larraz, Carlos Alberto Raffo, Jamie Ubilla, Daniel Pinto, Romulo Gomez and Suarez Rizzo. They were coached by Eduardo Tano Spanda. Since then, they have accumulated 11 more national titles, placing them third in the national title count behind Barcelona with 14 titles and El Nacional with 13. They have also won 7 local titles. In the 1990s, the football team saw success internationally. In 1995, they reached the semi-finals of the Copa Libertadores. They lost to eventual champions Gremio. In 2001, the team was close to becoming the first Ecuadorian club to win an international title when they were a finalist in the 2001 Copa Merconorte. In the finals, they lost to Millonarios 3-1 on penalty kicks, after tying on aggregate 2-2. Facilities. Several years after the creation of the Empresa Eléctrica del Ecuador Sports Club, its founder, George Louis Capwell, decided that it was time for the club to have its own baseball stadium. So in 1942, Guayaquil's municipal authorities donated 4 city blocks for the construction of the first private sports stadium in Ecuador. A year after that, in 1943, Emelec staff officially named and initiated the construction of the George Capwell Stadium. George Capwell Stadium opened its doors for the first time on October 21 of 1945. The inaugural game was a baseball match between Emelec and Oriente, and George Capwell played as a catcher for the Azules. Although Emelec's president did not like football and the stadium was not initially intended to be a football field, soon after the inauguration the first football match was held. Emelec won 5-4 against an all-stars team from the cities of Manta and Bahia. The 1947 Copa America competition was held exclusively at George Capwell Stadium, and an undefeated Argentina became South America's champion with an all-star team that included names like Alfredo Di Stefano, Felix Laustau, and Norberto Doroteo Mende. Ecuador finished in 6th place. After the Estadio Modelo was opened in 1959, the George Capwell Stadium became obsolete and was closed for many years. On several occasions it was almost destroyed for various projects that, luckily for the club, were never actually completed. It wasn't until 1991 that, with the leadership of Nasib Nema, that the George Capwell Stadium was reopened, to become once again the House of Emelec. At the moment, the official capacity of the stadium according to the FEF is 18,000 spectators. However, that number has not been changed even after the two enlargements were finished. It is said that the true capacity of the stadium at the moment is 25,000 spectators. Training ground. Emelec's training ground is located in the north of Guayaquil in a neighborhood called Los Samanes, and the training ground itself is called Complejo Deportivo de Los Samanes, translated to Los Samanes Sports Complex. The construction of the Samanes training ground started in 1984 and was finished in 1986 and was built by Filon Banco, a large financial institution in Ecuador at the time. Filon Banco had its own professional football which used Los Samanes until 1989, when, despite being one of the top teams at the time, Filon Banco's football club was disbanded due to lack of supporters and high maintenance costs. During the 1993 Copa America held in Ecuador, the Samanes complex was used by the Argentinian delegation. They stayed and trained there and were very appreciative of its secluded nature and excellent facilities, that among other things included 4 professional football fields, an indoor football field, basketball courts, tennis courts, an Olympic-size pool, social area and sleeping area. After Filon Banco's football club was disbanded, the complex remained in the hands of Filon Banco for their employees to use its facilities, until 1999, when the Ecuadorian financial crisis ended with Filon Banco going bankrupt and ending up in the hands of the AGD, a governmental agency created to control, protect and administrate the assets of Filon Banco and other financial institutions that went bust during the crisis. This meant that Los Samanes ended up in the hands of the ISSFA, the Ecuadorian Army's social security agency. Because ISSFA had no real use for it, the then football director of Emelec, Mr. Omar Quintana Baquerizo, managed to loan the training ground for the club, and Emelec has been using it ever since. Initially the agreement was a loan for 5 years, but when the 5 years passed, the government and the club arranged a 100-year loan for the facilities. However, the high monthly costs agreed has made the payments very difficult for the club, and the new administrators, led by the club's president Mr. Ali Waited, are in talks with the government to settle on a definitive purchase of the training ground. Honors. Ecuadorian Serie A 1957, 1961, 1965, 1972, 1979, 1988, 1993, 1994, 2001, 2002, 2013, 2014, 2015. Ecuadorian Serie B 1981 E1. Regional Campeonato Unión Deportiva Comercial de Guayaquil 1925-1933. Campeonato Amateur del Fútbol del Guayas 1946-1948. Campeonato Profesional de Guayaquil 1956-1957, 1962-1964, 1966. Players. Current squad as of February 12, 2016. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. On loan. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Reserve team. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Top goal scorers. Emelec has had 9 players become the season top scorer in the Serie A, 3 players become the top scorer of the Costa Champion, and 1 player become the top scorer of the Copa Libertadores. Managers. Current coaching staff: manager Omar De Felipe, assistant manager Walter De Felipe, physical trainer Fernando Gomez. Notable managers. The following managers won at least one trophy when in charge of Emelec: Eduardo Spanda, Mariano Larraz, Fernando Paternoster, Jorge Lazo, Eduardo Garcia, Juan Silva, Salvador Capitano, Carlos Torres Garce, Carlos Sevilla, Rodolfo Mota, Gustavo Quinteros, Omar De Felipe. Other sports. Emelec is not only one of the most important football clubs in Ecuador, but it is rated as one of the most important sports club of the country. In the trophy room, Emelec has hundreds of cups and medals that have been gained over the years in many different sports. The list includes 33 consecutive national boxing championships, 13 baseball national championships, 11 male basketball national championships, 18 female basketball national championships, 7 cycling national championships, 5 taekwondo national championships, 5 judo national championships, 1 weightlifting world championship.